I've been having a glass in my hand to sip or something.
Yeah, man, you're on, sir.
Eh?
This is going to be a casual interview with Mr. Pottinger, Mr. Kenneth Pottinger. The date, sir, is?
Supposed to be the 21st, Sunday 21st of January,
Yes, sir. What's the year?
the year 2001, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And today is your interview to the world, your life story, your family, your history, your culture, where you're born, what you went through in life. Today is the 21st. And what you hope for the future for your kids, your grandkids and everything. This is your time. Now the world will hear your voice and listen to your story. Are you ready, sir?
Yeah, okay, I'm ready.
So, sir, where were you born?
Well, I was born in Santana, Jamaica, in the year 1951, Trinity May. The exact date, it's going to be a Sunday. And I stand from my mother, it was a Sunday afternoon. My mother was just 17 years old at the time of my birth. My father was a businessman, Ned Pottinger of Ochiris. And he who died about 2 years ago, in 1999. And my mother passed on when I was 11 years old, pretty young. In as a matter of fact, to be the exact date, it was the 17th of June, 1962.
Yeah.
That was the exact date. Unfortunately, in those days, my mother died of childbirth. She had a hemorrhage. And, there's nothing could be done for her at that time anyhow because, medical technology at that time wasn't so advanced. So, there were these people inside the era who, we call them nannies, or we call it now, midwives. So they were the one who actually did the delivery. So at that time when my mother died, there's nothing they could do because no immediate medical attention couldn't be done at that time. And there was no doctor near, there's no hospital. Hospital was about 40, 50 miles away from home. And the transport wasn't so regular at that time. So it was very difficult for her to really survive, So anyhow, she died Sunday morning, and exactly, I can't remember the exact time, it was 7:30 a.m. And I could hear her crying, and I was at the age of that time to really know exactly what could happen. And I was really concerned. My brother and sister at that time was very, very young, so I didn't understand much anyhow. I was the oldest one to really know exactly what could happen. Anyhow, that was an effect on my life at 11 years old. That was a terrible effect, And lost my mother at that age, 11 years old, it was very sad to me. And I really didn't remember spending 2 years of my life after the death of my mother, because we were very, very close, being as I was the first one. So I continued going to school. I was living with my stepfather and my two sisters, and in fact, my sister, who had born at the time of my mother's death, my aunt took her and adopted her. But I had another sister, Beverly, and my brother, Danny. And we all grew up until I was about 16 years old when my father took me, and I went to the city to live with my grandaunt. And then, I was there for a while. I decided that I was to continue school, but unfortunately it didn't work out because I had decided that I was going to go to technical school, but somewhere there financially it wasn't there, so I had to start working at a very early age. At the age about 17 years old when I started working at Arnold and Sons, and it was an experience. I mean, just starting working, getting your own little money, it was very very good. So I mean, it's it was very good. In those days, that was in about 68 or 69. The currency at the time was pounds and shillings, just like because we're still under the British rule. Still, so we had, although we had independence in 1962, but I mean, we were still using some sort of English policy, including the currency. We had pounds and shillings and pence until later on in the year. I don't remember exact year, but we changed to dollars and cents, But in those days when I started working, I used to get £4 a week, And then after leaving my grandaunt and started to board, I used to pay £3 a week for board and fee, and £1 was for my transportation, and that's 4 shilling there was for my lunch. You can say, things was really cheap at that time. I used to pay something like about 5 shilling for a plate of curry goat, in Orange Street downtown. And I can remember going to Carib Theatre in the earlier days. I used to pay maybe about 4 shilling for a matinee. I used to pay 5 pence for a Coke and 6 pence for a patty. So in those days it was very very nice. I mean, Christmas, we used to get bonus. I mean, from the stores and from a job, and we used to buy clothes and things, and so it was really nice. Christmas tree was really nice in those days. You didn't find much crime and all those things there. I mean, Jamaica at that time was just, growing, and the economy was growing, and people were actually, starting businesses, people building houses and so on and things. It was really nice in those days. There was a unity in those days with people. People used to help each other. Yes, and the younger generation used to respect the elders, and I mean, you find that that was one of the things that helped the society to be so crime-free, because the younger generation used to hear the older folks, and I mean, it used to be, it's so good because, if you are living in a neighborhood, and that neighborhood with a lot of people inside used to be, all those people used to be your parents. You never used to have a person talking to you and then disrespecting them or anything like that. That is what is happening now. I mean, these kids don't respect the elderly folks right now, and that is why discipline has broken in society mainly. And parents nowadays, especially young parents nowadays, they don't really stop to think as well, boy. If elderly folk talk to your child, that's they are doing it for the sake of to let a child really grow with a certain amount of discipline. But in turn, they used to really turn around and disrespect to those parents. So why talk to my child like that, or why do this, or why do that? But it was a wrong thing to do. That's right. So people generally used to be offended when kids talk to the children, which is not right. That's it, right? Because people who are up in society right now, professional people, or people who reach somewhere in life, can tell you when they were growing up, they used to have Mr. Brown or Mr. John used to talk to them, and if they see them doing something on the street, they would talk to them, and they were afraid to go home and tell the parents, or boy, Mas John said something to me, and he would get a whopping. still. Yeah, I said. But anyhow, I mean, as I was saying that with that part of discipline when I was growing up, it was very, very good for me because when I went to the city, I started working. I had enough discipline inside of me that I could go off track. Because growing up as a youth at that time, you know, there were lots of temptation out there. And in those days, you used to have drugs just the same as now, but it wasn't so prevalent. And then you had guns there, you had gangs, you know, but mainly because it's where you're coming from, the training that you got makes you a person to say, well, boy, you're not going to get yourself involved in certain things because you know what you want out of life. You want a future out of life. And once you're a person who is growing up and decide to say, boy, what you want out of life, you have to achieve it. You're not really going to turn away and say, well, boy, you know, I want to do this and I want to do that. Yes, and, you know, life was like that all the time. So, boy, you make sure you set a goal and decide to say, well, that is what I want out of life. You don't want to be no gunman and you don't want to take no drugs. You know, that was not good. But a lot of kids thought it was mucho, was good, you know. Play with guns, drugs make you get high. I've seen so many guys who used to smoke ganja, right? I mean, in my days, you didn't have things like crack and cocaine or morphine or whatever dangerous drugs in those days. They had ganja. It was very, very common, right? And those things used to make people high, and they'd do stupid things. I said, but it wasn't for me. I said, I knew the dangers of that thing, and I didn't. I said, because at that time, 17 years old, I was around. I could do anything at all I want. Nobody could stop me and tell me what I was to do or what I was to do. But I knew what I wanted, so I didn't do those things, right? So I had an aim in view, right? So working at Arhan and Sons there, until my father and my uncle, they called me and said, well, boy, why working for a week? Why don't come down there? At that time, my uncle was running some business in St. Anne's Bay, and he said, my father said, why not come down and your uncle will teach you the business, yes, and then you'll help to run the gas station. I mean, and you know, you can do things, and you know, in less than no time you can get a driver's license, and you'll be your own boss. And so when I think, I said, fine, okay. I went there, and after going there, I realized it wasn't much greener on the other side. So I had to come back to Kingston, in the city, and then I reapplied with Arhan and Sons, got the job, and I started to go to Kingston Technical in the afternoon. I was doing mechanical engineer at that time. In those days, you don't have to pay for nothing, you know, no education, and that's one thing to go to school. You make sure you have the ability to really pass the test to really go into school. And I passed the test, and I was going to evening classes, and you know, I said, well, boy, that is what I really wanted. Anyhow, working at Hannah's, I went to school in the afternoon, was very good for me until, I was about 19 or 20 years old now. While in the Fletcher's Land here, I was living in Fletcher's Land here with my friends, and that's the time I met my first girlfriend, yes, which was Pauline, right? And she was very young too, like myself, and she was working at this store on North Street corner on Mark Avenue. I can remember. I used to go to that store to buy, you know, stuff and things most times, and you know, but I saw this nice girl, you know, and immediately, you know, she attracted my attention, and I started to, drop one or two words. I think I realized that she had liked me too. So we started to pass little notes to each other, and invited her out, and we went to Hope Gardens and movies, and we started to move around. And then we fell in love, both of us. It was so wonderful in those days. I mean, young and in love and everything. I can remember the first time we were together, and we hold hands and we went, and I went home at night. I couldn't sleep. Think about her for the whole night. So we went on, and she was very ambitious. She's always wanted to go to school and everything. And so she had passed subjects in the JSC, and she wanted to teach. So she was still going to school. She always had an aim in view, and that is what I really liked about her, and that encouraged me to really love her more. And we went on, and we got closer and closer, and we decided, sir, boy, we were going to stay together. So I left Fletcher's Land, and I went to Washington Gardens. And that's the time I launched on my own now. I went to furniture store, and as a matter of fact, before that happened, I remember that she got pregnant with my first child, and man, I was the happiest person. I was the happiest person in all the world. I was so happy. And then that is when I decided, no, so you're a normal man, so you gotta start looking about taking your responsibilities. So I went to Raymar's furniture store on Early Street, and I can't remember, I took out a bedroom set, and it was to burn a gas stove. I went to Washington Gardens, and I rented a bedroom apartment, and we started to live with each other. And then, meanwhile, she used to teach. I mean, during her pregnancy, she used to actually teach. And then, before, in about 6 or 7 months pregnancy, she stopped, and she came home while I was still working. So by this time now I had to change my job, and I went to Spanish Town, and I got a better job, and she was still there. And then her sister, her family was very nice to me. Her mother was very, very nice to me. She had a twin sister, Marlene. I was involved with the whole family. I was so happy. I can remember going to Manchester, where she was from, in Norway district in Manchester there, and I spent time down there. I can remember the first night I went there, and it was the coldest time in my life, because I can remember going to a shop there, and noticing the oil on the shelf was frozen. That is how cold the place was. And that's the coldest place I've ever been. I mean, in those days in Jamaica, and it was very, very cold. But I loved it down there. Her mother had this big house on the hill here, and she had her brothers and sisters, and and it was so nice. Her mother was a very hard-working person, and I was so much involved in the family. And I can remember a Sunday morning, her sister was there, and she and I was lying inside the bed, playing around, and she said, Kenneth, I feel a pain, suddenly, I feel a pain. I said, are you okay? She started to complain about more pain. And then when I know at that time, she had due to really have baby at that time. So she, I had to call a taxi cab. My sister was got her ready and everything. So I got the taxi cab and came and took her to the public hospital And I can remember, I was so nervous. I went and got a stretcher. I was calling everybody. Um, my girlfriend's gonna have a baby, and I was so excited. And when I got a stretcher, I put her on the stretcher, and then I pushed her right into the hospital. And I can remember I was going through the door, and then I said, "No, mister, no further, no further." And then I had to turn back, and I was there, waiting, and the time I said, "Look, it doesn't make sense to wait because she's not gonna have baby now, so you can come back a little later, I went home and I was there, until in the afternoon, and then I went back there, and then I asked the nurse if one Paul Bean is there, and she said yes, she had a boy. I said, man, that was something. That was one of the greatest joy to me, man. My first child was a boy, and I was so happy. And I went inside there, and I could remember seeing my little boy there, and crying and thing, and it was something, I mean, for all you guys who had your firstborn, and as a young man, it's an experience to really look at your first child, say, well, this is my flesh and blood. And I was very, very happy, and that is one of the incidents in my life I'll never forget. So that is really something I have to talk about all the while. My first child, and for you guys who really have a first child, something like that you want to talk about all the while. Anyhow, we had a child, and things went along, and she got pregnant again with my second child. Relationship wasn't so much 100%. For some reason I don't know. Things just didn't work the way. I guess we were too young, to really get to sit down and discuss our problem or understand each other. But when you're young, you don't have anything to really guide. Actually, by the time we almost got married, but it just didn't work out, we used to have regular fights, and not physical, but we used to argue a lot and thing, and it didn't work out in the house. So we separated, and she went to the country, and she had my second son, and by the way, the first child was we both named him Thurston J. Pottinger. That was my first son's name. And my second son's name was Randy Drew Pottinger. That was my second. And, both guys were close because, they had born, a short distance apart. So they were very close. Some people thought they were twins when they were growing up, but and they were living with their grandmother in the country, and going to school and everything, and then the mother, she was still going to school, and and she started to go to college and everything, and and then I met a woman in Spanish Town, and then going on, and then she got pregnant, and then I had my first daughter, right? She was, my first daughter's name is Stacey Marie Pottinger. That was my first girl, I love her so much. And we were going, and then after that, I decided, where I was working in Spanish Town at that time, I had to changed my job because the company running financial problems, so I had to change my job. So that's the time I decided to join the police force. I joined the police force. I went to the police training school in Port Royal, and at the time, and I spent the time there graduating, and I came out, and I decided to say, well, boy, when I get married, so I got married to Barbara, and then I had my second child with her, which was a boy. So Mina was her first child. She decided, so well, boy, she was going to name him Junior, Kenneth Jr. So we did name him Kenneth Bruce Pottinger Jr. So I think it was a little bit rough financially at that time. By this time, my two boys were still in the country, and Pauline was still going to college in Church Teachers College in Mandeville, and I had the responsibility of taking care of my wife and my two kids at home there. So it was a hell of a responsibility on me right there. So, she wasn't working, it was very, very rough, I mean, I started to experience life right now, what it is to really have kids to different places. And, I would really like to take this time to advise, young guys nowadays who are growing up. It's not really a good idea to have kids here and there, here and there. It's not good. It's not good for them, because first it comes, they don't grow up together. They don't grow as a family, and it's financially it's very, very hard. Yes, and these things will affect them emotionally through life, But you have to be very, very, very strong to really do. These things, and it's not really a good thing to really have kids here, 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 and there. Most of the time, it causes kids to really go different places, and live a different lifestyle, and they're not really happy with the surrounding, because the one parent system doesn't work. It doesn't really work. I don't know. It took effect on me. In those days, because I love my kids. I love my boys, and I want to see them. I want to see all my kids together. But it was something where it couldn't really happen at the time, right? Well, one time it did happen that when Paul was going to college, I had to keep them for a while until she graduated. So after she graduated from college, she kept them for a while before she migrated, and then I got them again. By this time I had my own house and everything in St. Catherine, and then I took them, and by this time my wife had migrated to the United States. I wasn't there with my two kids there, and my sister was taking care of them. And I decided, so boy, I'm going to take my two sons when I was in St. Catherine, so because they were living with their aunt's husband, that's Dennis. He's a very nice guy. He took them in as his own sons, and he took care of them, and we always communicate together, and I was going there in St. Mary to visit them and some other thing, and then he decided, said, boy, he was going to migrate to the United States. I said, all right, fine. So I took them, the boys, and by this time my two kids had left to the United States, and then we all three were there. It was very rough, it was very, very rough at that time, because working in Kingston and living in St. Catherine, I had to commute every day. Sometimes I reach home late. And it was really rough on me until I get transferred to the area in which I was living, and it was much easier for me and the boys there. And I tell you something, I had two wonderful boys. As a matter of fact, all my kids were wonderful. My kids didn't give me any trouble whatsoever, right? And I guess maybe to how I really, I was that person who really loved to chastise kids. I love my kids, and I talk to them, and all the while I decided, so boy, I don't see the reason why I should really chastise my kids, because they always do the right thing. And I always sit down and talk to them and say, boy, this is right and this is wrong, right? And it was a blessing to me to know that they didn't really give me no trouble whatsoever, right? And especially my two, the two biggest boys I had, they were well disciplined, as I said, right? They lived in a neighborhood where they were well loved, as I said, and they couldn't do anything. And being as I was a cop, and their father was because their father was a cop, they couldn't really do things, contrary to, what I taught them, because it would look bad on my side, being as a cop, and the son do this and do that, it would look bad on me. But whether or not being a cop, the standard that I set for those kids growing up, I expected them to really live by that standard. So they grew up, and I was still in the police force, and the mother, who was been in the United States here, decided so when she was going to take them up and get them finish school up here. And my first son, he was going to Charlemont High School. He was doing pretty good. And then my second son, no, he was he was about to take exam for technical entrance. And about time when he was supposed to come to the United States to get the results, he was successful to go to Binton High School. So he had to do what he had to do. He migrated to the United States, left me alone over in Jamaica there. So we corresponded and thing, and they came here and they lived with their mother, and they decided to go to school, still going to school and thing, and my wife and kids, they were living in the same place, in the same area, so they got to see each other quite often. So I was happy for that. They could communicate and some other thing. And so my first son now decided that he was going to college, so he was working very hard. Those days, I can't really get up and say, look, I contributed for my son's education to go to college as a father. I couldn't really get up and say that I contributed. Whatever they are doing now in life, they had contributed to what they are doing. They work very hard, and they went to school. The school itself, as far as I'm concerned, financially, I can't say I really contributed much to their education, right? For one thing, I wasn't here part of the time, right? Most of the time during their education, I wasn't really in this country anyhow, right? Because my wife didn't sponsor me at the time, so I had decided to say I would spend a couple more years in the police force, and then when after a while I decided to say, all right, then migrate, and then came over here. By this time I came here, I started college and everything, so I was very proud of them and everything. They selected what they want. My first son started to go to City College, and then my second son, he wanted to do computer. He's always technical, because he's always want to do things, inventory. He's always a fixer man, right? I always like to be adventurous, know things, do things, That is what he likes. So, I know he would succeed because he is very interested technically, you understand? And it's not that people used to tell us, well, why not try this technically? The interest that he had, I know that would help him in life, right? So I didn't have nothing to worry about where he was concerned. My first son was, he didn't really select what he wanted anyhow, but when he went to college, by the time he was almost halfway through, he decided what he wanted. So he went to the medical field, and he did nursing, and with a degree, and my second son, he graduated with a degree in computer science. So my two other kids now with my wife, by this time, relationship with my wife got very shaky. One of the things that I have to really say to a relationship where two partners are living apart for a while, it doesn't generally work out much. It doesn't really work out much, right? Because she was here and I was in Jamaica, and it wasn't working out. The trust wasn't there. That's it. And when we came here and we started to live together and we decided to let bygones be bygones, because we all did something in our life we regret sometimes, but we sit and say, boy, forget about this and forget about that, right? But it's like the things that we do really, we sit down and think about it. We say we shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that, but let's face it, when we come together and we decide, all right, let bygones be bygones and we patch up everything and stuff like that thing. But still, there were a lot of times where there was no trust. Honesty was not there, right? And in every relationship, if there's no trust, no honesty, and no respect, the relationship is not going to go anywhere. And that was exactly what's happening in my marriage, right? So there were a lot of other things, arguments and some other things. So, it just didn't work out, so we separated and we divorced. By this time, Stacey had just started college, and Junior was still going to high school, and Stacey decided to do nursing, so she went to Hunter College and she switched to College of Mount St. Vincent, where she graduated with a bachelor's degree in nursing. And Junior, he decided he was going to do computer science. So he started school, and then he switched again and he wanted to do stockbroking. Switched on stockbroking, but he's still pretty young, still searching for what he really wants in life. So, by the time he still started to do rap singing, and so, I guess he's still searching for what he really wants. He's still pretty young anyhow. But thank God, life is still there. They are all healthy, and my daughter now, she left New York and she is now in Florida. She's working in a hospital. My biggest son now, he got married and he has two beautiful kids, one boy, one girl. Right? He is a nursing supervisor now at a nursing home in Queens. He has a very lovely wife who also went to the same college as he did and graduated with honors. I love them very much, and I wish them, all the happiness, in life, with my two grandkids that I love so much. And then my second son now, he has taken up a computer empire on himself now. He's doing very, very good in computer, and I'm very, very proud of him. And he has delivered a lot in the computer system. And he has made a couple of inventions, which he doesn't want to really disclose most of his techniques right now, and he's still building on his inventions. And one day to come, the world will know that Randy Drew Pottinger was the inventor, or is the inventor of this in the no computer age, because he's so dedicated with the system right now that even myself as his father can hardly get him on the telephone sometimes. So I'm very proud of him, and he has a very lovely girlfriend who he had just engaged December, and they are planning to get married. She's a very beautiful girl, and she's a lawyer. Just went to the bar So, you know, you can see really that these kids are coming from somewhere and they have set a standard in life what they really want. And I'm very proud of these kids, and I love all my kids very much. And with this interview, I'm hoping that someday to come, my grandkids and my great-grandkids will see this video and know that you know, I love all you guys very, very much, and I wish you, all you guys, the best in life, health and prosperity. And there's one thing that I must mention in life, is that you always put God in front of you, right? Never forget Him. Always say a word of prayer whenever you leave your house or whenever you come in, you thank God. He is the person who is really keeping us. And with this, I would say much more that with the conclusion
Well, let me ask you.
of this interview. I guess my son wants to ask me something right now
No, we're gonna
regarding this interview.
Well, I'm Randy Pottinger, second son. I want to ask you some questions. I need some specific answers. We're going to start way back when you were born. Now, you were born in what year?
1951.
1951. And how old are you now?
Well, actually, I'll be 50 years old the 20th of May this year.
50?
Yeah,
The 20th
that's my
of
half
May.
century.
Where were you born?
I was born in Walkersville, St. Anne, Jamaica.
And from what age did you leave that location above?
I left there actually when I was about 6 years old. I went to live with my mom. That is when she got married to my stepfather.
Where?
Louis Conda. It's Beachertown.
So from St. Anne's?
It's same place in St. Anne, but it was Beachertown.
From what was it? What was the first location?
Walkerswood.
Walker's Wood to
Beachertown.
Beachertown, St. Anne. And that from age of 6 you went to Beacherstown. What was it like growing up in Beacherstown? What would you do in the mornings when you get up?
Well, at that age, you know, boys used to really have their little chores to do in the morning. We used to have rabbits and things, and we used to have to feed and thing to feed the rabbits in the morning, and then to sweep the yard and, you know, keep the yard tidy and thing before we get ready to go to school. Basically, you know.
What about the kids? You have any other friends with you at that age that you remember?
Oh yeah, I had a lot of friends. I was a very growing up. I was a very social person. My mother, I think, had got that first. She's a very social person. Everybody had known her. She was very pleasant. She had a pleasant personality. And my friends at that time was I have a very good friend who used to live across the street. He was Linval Paisley, and you know, we used to be very, very good friends. You know, and then my school friends, and you know, I had a lot of school friends, namely Aston Bailey and Keith James and.
What about your brothers and sisters at that time?
Oh yeah, I had a brother. My brother, that was Donovan Codner. His father was Codner.
So he was living with you at the same place?
Yeah.
So you had one brother living with you?
And one sister.
And what was her name?
Beverly.
Beverly.
Beverly Codner.
Beverly Codner Pottinger.
No. Pottinger was my father's name.
Okay.
I was Pottinger. I was Kenneth Pottinger, born Kenneth Pottinger to Ned Pottinger.
To Ned Pottinger.
Yeah.
And Beverly was a different father.
Different father. That was my my mother's husband, because she had married to this man Louis Codner.
Louis Codner.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. So you were the only one that was.
Yeah, the first one from my mom. That's
okay. Okay, and then after you, from your mom's side, then who else?
Donovan. That was
Donovan.
the first one from my father.
Okay.
And Beverly. She
Beverly.
was the second one. But she suffered sickness at the early age. At 3 years old, she had if you can remember in those days in the 50s, there was this polio that was going around.
She suffered that.
She suffered
At what
a
age?
slight. She was about 3 years old.
3 years old.
Yeah,
So now
she had polio.
in the
That
house.
affected her to one of her legs had partially paralyzed. So she was at a rehab center for a good while. So she didn't really grow much in the early age with us. She was 6 years old when she came back because she had spent most of her time in her early age
In the hospital?
at rehabilitation.
Really?
You know.
Now, is she living now?
Oh yes, she living in the United States. You know, she's
Where?
married with one daughter in the Bronx.
Okay, we'll have to visit her sometime.
Yeah.
Second question, very specific question.
Mhm.
So you're living here, 3 kids growing up in this household,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
right? With your mother and your stepfather,
Uh-huh.
and you're about 6, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You were going
That's
to
about 7.
7, 6. You're
Mhm.
going to school feeding rabbits. What else?
Well,
Slingshot? Any climbing
yeah,
trees?
yeah. I mean, you know,
Was this a country?
boys all yes, the country area, and boys all over. You know, you used to have a lot of fun. You go with slingshot shooting birds. I mean, playing marbles and playing ball and things.
What was your favorite game?
Well, my favorite game was cricket.
Cricket.
Yeah,
So
uh-huh.
you're a cricket expert.
Not really expert. I love that game, but you know.
You didn't make it to the international
Nah,
stage.
no. Well, actually, I made it to be a captain of the school team.
So you're more so a leadership figure.
Yeah. I had made it. They had selected me to be the captain of my school team when we were competing against other schools, and we had although we didn't win any competition, but we had made it and won a lot of matches.
Alright.
You know.
So what age? Okay, so let's keep the transition going. 6-year-old, 7.
Uh-huh.
What was the name of the town again?
Beachestown.
Beecherstown.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
In St. Anne's.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, and did you have regular visitors from any other family members? Do you remember seeing anybody at that age?
Oh yes, I mean my mother's nieces and nephews. They used to come across now and then and spend time with us. That is where I was born in Walkersville because I was still attached to Walkersville because my aunts were there and my cousins were there. So we used to have a lot of visitors there. Coming across, and people from the neighborhood. My house in the neighborhood was a sort of centralized point where a lot of people used to look up and come across. My mother used to be like one of those people who are central to the district. Everybody used to come to her.
What did she do as a profession?
Well, she was a seamstress.
Seamstress.
Yes,
Okay.
and she used to bake and things.
What about your stepfather?
My stepfather used
Mr.
to work
Cognan, that's his name?
Codner.
Cogna.
C-O-D-N-E-R, Codner.
Cogna. Okay.
He used to work at the Reynolds bauxite company.
Is he still alive?
No. He died a couple years ago.
Okay. And your mother, when did she pass away?
My mother passed away the 17th of June 1962. That's a date I cannot forget.
Really? What age? How old were you?
I was 11 years old.
Alright, let's backtrack a little then. Alright, so you're growing up in this household. Everything is good. Are you sleeping on your own bed or on the floor? Where are you sleeping?
No. I was sleeping me and my brother. We had a bed together.
So you slept with your brother?
Yeah. Actually, we had a helper.
You had a helper.
We used to sleep
Maid.
in the same room.
Okay, with you guys.
So we had a little bed together. We used to sleep in that bed, and she had a bed. She sleep in her own bed.
Okay. What was your stepfather like? Was he a nice guy? What were some of his principles?
Well, he was a very strict person. With
What
discipline is concerned.
would he have you do in the mornings when you would get up?
Well, generally, he used to set our chores for the week, and then, although he was after work in the early mornings, he used to tell us what to do. Make sure you feed the rabbit, make sure you do this or you do that. Yes,
Did you get any whipping, and with what kind of instruments did you get whipping with?
Well, for one thing, I was all my life I grew up very, very quiet. Ever since I was born, I was my when I was growing up with my aunt in Walkerswood,
Mm-hmm.
she used to say, people used to come and beat up on me when I was very small. I was very, very,
Passive.
yeah. So, I mean, everybody used to come and say, hit on me and everything. So, my aunt used to tell me, say, fight back, but, I was that type of person. So, anyhow, going with my stepfather, I was very, very quiet. My brother was the one who was always the troublemaker. I was doing this, doing that, and I always get blamed for it. So, most times I always, get a whipping because of him. Because whenever he does something, sometimes, I'm going to get him beaten just the same. You understand?
All right.
That was the bigger one.
So at this time, Beverly was about sick and she was still going through rehab.
Yeah.
All right. So now you're growing. School. How did you like school?
Oh, school was very good. I love school very much. I love school very, very much. The only problem I didn't love about school is that on Thursdays with the maths, maths day on Thursdays.
What subject did you like in school?
Well, I love history and I love English and geography. Right, those subjects I love, and
In those times, I'm just gonna keep, because time is running.
uh,
In those times, national heroes. Who are the leaders at those times? Are people you look up to
oh, in those days,
on radio or?
all right, in those days you used to have Bustamante, who was the founder of the Jamaica Labour Party, and then you have Michael Manley, he was the founder of the People's National Party. Both of them were leading politicians in those days.
And this year
And
was?
then you have the Governor General, who was representing the Queen at those times. He was Sir, what's his name, Blackburn, something like that, but he was representing the Queen. At that time, we were in independence at that yet until 1962. So in those days, we were still under British rule, right? And they were running into two different parties at that time, PNP and JLP, and until they had independence, in 1962, right? So
What kind of music did you enjoy growing up with?
well, they had ska and bossa nova, and basically it was those type of music,
So you like music growing up? Did your stepfather listen to a lot of music growing up?
Yeah, actually, my mother used to love music, and I was, boys are always jealous. I used to jealous of my mother because she used to love dancing, and there are times when my stepfather both of them would start dancing when they have nice music coming over the radio and everything, and I would stand up and just watch them. And I was a little bit jealous, because boys are always jealous of their mother. So I was a little bit jealous, But my mother was very, very loving. She was a very loving type of person.
What month was she born? What month, And what age did she die? At what age?
I don't remember exactly when my mother had born her. I'd have to contact my aunt, she would know. My mother died when she was 28 years old.
28 of what?
She was 28 years old when she died.
But what did she die of?
She died of hemorrhage from child's birth.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us about that, your experience, and what age, how old were you?
I was 11 years old, at the time, and then
In the same house?
same house.
With your stepfather, your brother,
Uh-huh.
and your sister?
Yeah,
And she died of hemorrhaging.
yeah, same place in the house.
28.
Yeah.
What was it like then? What happened? What was the day like? You woke up in the morning. What happened? Paint us a picture.
It was a sunny morning. It was a sunny morning, and we all knew that she had due to have a baby, and we didn't know exactly that it was going to be that day until they sent the call. Two ladies who were in those days they called them midwives or nanny, They were the two main people in that district who had always
Give birth.
did delivery, you know,
Okay.
in those days. So from you see those two people go into a special house where somebody's pregnant, you know that person is about to have a baby.
Okay.
So when those two ladies came there, I was intelligent enough to know that my mother was going to have a child.
All right.
So
And you were 11.
yeah, I was 11 years old.
So the day, what time, about what time? What was happening in that day?
Yeah, about 7:30 in the morning.
Do you have dogs around the house? Like roosters and pigs?
Yeah, we have dogs and things. We have animals, you know.
Was it a hot day?
We didn't have pigs. We had dogs and
Sunny?
fowl and things. It was in the early morning, so it was
morning.
you know, it wasn't bleaky or raining or nothing at all. It was a very pleasant morning.
So you woke up. Tell me exactly what happened.
Well, I was inside the room at the time because you know it was early, and I heard crying inside the other room. That was the room my mother was. She was crying. Right? She was crying for pain, you know. And then it was on and off, on and off, on and off. And then suddenly I didn't hear her crying anymore. I heard somebody else start to cry. That was one of the lady. She came out and she started to cry. And then at the time I realized what had really happened. And she said my mother died. And it was like, you know, I was completely lost, man. I said, I mean, I wanted to go to see her, and you know, it just like they didn't let me to go inside the room. So they told me to go to other people in the area, you know, and I walking around the district crying. Everybody knew, and in the space of 15 minutes, the whole area and the whole district heard that my mother died. Yes, and then they had to send message to my aunt in Walkerswood, and you know, and everybody knew, you know, and it was something, you know, because she just, as far as she died suddenly because nobody expected her to die, you know, because she was healthy up to the Saturday before, so that, you know, it was a shock to everybody, you know, so you know,
What happened
the
to
baby was still alive, you know.
What's the baby name?
The baby is still alive. She's Sharon. The name was Sharon Faith Codner.
Sharon
Faith Codner.
Faith Codner.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
She's still alive today.
Yeah. She lives in Stamford, Connecticut right now.
Really?
My aunt had adopted her. But she had changed her name to Sharon Faith Richards because my aunt was Richards. So my aunt adopted her and kept her. And then, you know, she grew up with my aunt, and, you know, it's after a couple of years when she migrated, my aunt migrated to Stamford, and then I came up here one day and I sat and turned over everything that, I mean, you know.
So you talk to her now?
Oh yeah, quite often.
Okay, so we have to get to know
Yeah,
her.
you have to know her and some other things. She's a Christian, you know. She's dedicated her life to, you know, to the church and everything, and all this, you know, Christ and things. So, you know, she's pretty on the religious side, you know.
Okay.
Also, my other sister, she's very religious, you know.
Okay, so at this time you're your brother now. We understand that your sister at the time, she at age 11 she came out of rehab, Beverly, and she was with you guys at the same house.
Yeah.
But she was functioning normally as a child.
Oh yeah, she was functioning normal, but both of them didn't really know exactly what was really going on. Yes, and they didn't really have the age to know exactly, you know, the death of her mother and so that thing.
Your
you know?
younger bar, your younger brother. His name again, Barry.
Donovan. Yeah.
Donovan Pottinger.
No, Codner.
Sorry, bad memory. Donovan Codner. And he. What age was you're 11? What age was he?
He was about 7 years old.
7.
4 years old.
You're 4 years. Okay. And at that time, all right. When did you leave this house?
When I was.
When did you start separate from Beverly? Donovan.
When I was about 15 or 16 years old. That's when I left primary school.
So you left primary school. Did he come along with you?
No.
What happened?
They stayed with their father.
So Donovan stayed,
And
Beverly
Bev-
stayed,
yeah,
and you left.
Yeah.
How did you leave and why?
I leave to the city. 'Cause after graduating from primary school, there was nothing around for me to do
So
there.
you left on your own?
No. My father took me.
Your stepfather?
No, my father.
So your father came to take you away.
Yeah,
He'd take you to where?
to the city to
Okay.
live with my grandaunt. That is his aunt.
Okay.
With the intention of continuing school.
Your real father.
Yeah, my father. But
Okay.
for some reason or the other,
What was he
He
like?
didn't
What
work
was
out.
he doing? What's his business?
Oh, my father was a haulage contractor. He had a lot of trucks and earth moving equipment, and he used to he used to do a lot of business in the St. Anne area.
How did he start the business?
Behind towards the development of the Orchard area.
How did he
Yeah.
start the business?
Well, for one, in his early days in the 50s, he used to he lost his father at a very young age, and he started off being a chauffeur to one. There was a rich lady in Orchard, Miss Ethel Stewart. He used to drive with her, yes, and drive her around, and he used to go all over the world, with her because she was a rich woman, and that's the time my grandfather died at a very young age. And my grandfather was from Cuba,
Really?
Actually, he was living in Cuba. And my father was born in Cuba. And
We're back again, and Mr. Pottinger, you're going to hold up a picture of your father, and we're going to zoom in on that. And your mother, you're going to talk about that picture.
oh yeah, this is a picture.
Let's see if I could zoom in on that. This is a pic. Now, who's this man here?
Oh,
That's good.
that's my father.
Mm-hmm.
He took this picture sometime in the 80s. Right? He took it sometime in the 80s. Yeah, that's about at that time.
Okay, in the 80s. So now he had his own business.
Yeah. And this is my mother's picture. She took this sometime about 1960 or 1961. You can see that picture is very antique, that style here. She took that in 1960.
Hold that for me.
She had very tall hair,
And hold it for me.
She was
Her
very
grandmother.
beautiful.
Where was her grandmother from?
Who?
Her mother.
Her mother died. I didn't know her mother. Her mother died of the similar
Really?
condition in which my mother died. She died in childbirth. Yes, right?
Uh-huh.
So I didn't know my grandmother, So, my grandmother died very early too,
No, all right. So let's talk about some history here.
Mm.
Your father's father was from Cuba. He was born in Cuba.
No, my father's father was living in Cuba. I think he's a Jamaican, but he spent most of his time in Cuba.
Doing what? Do you know?
My grandfather was, I understand from my father, was a horseman.
Oh, a jockey.
Not really a jockey. He was, what do you call it now?
The
Those,
groomer.
No. He was, he used to be in charge of horses.
Okay.
In other words, train horses and so on and thing.
A trainer.
Yeah, a trainer.
Okay. In Cuba.
Yeah.
And your father was born in Cuba.
Yeah, my father was born in Cuba. Meanwhile,
Then came.
along with my aunt who
Okay.
died.
Then came to Jamaica.
Yeah, they came to Jamaica.
He met your mother where?
My grandmother.
No, he met your father. Where did your father meet your mother?
Oh, my mother was working. Well, in those days, I mean, you have a lot of white folks living in Jamaica. Yes, sir. British
Rulers.
rulers. Yes, sir.
Mhm.
My mother was working with one of those people.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. And then my father, I told you earlier on, was working with this other lady, Miss Ethel Stewart.
And what's her name?
Ethel Stewart.
Echo Stewart.
Yeah.
So she's related to.
No, she was sort of friends of the person
But
my mother
is
used to work with.
Bush Stewart a part of that family?
Oh yeah, Bush Stewart was his grandson.
Was her grandson?
Her grandson.
Oh, really?
Mm.
So your father was working with this woman,
Yeah.
and from there he started to start his business from the funds that he raised working
Yeah,
with
yeah.
her. And he started his construction company from there.
Yeah.
Bought trucks.
Bought trucks and everything, and and then started to build up his, company.
So he came for you at 15.
Yeah.
He brought you to the town. And
The city.
The city.
Mhm.
The intention for you to help out with the business or go
No,
finish your school.
No. To finish schooling.
All right.
To the city to finish schooling.
So after that, you're going to what school now in Kingston? What school? And where did you live?
No. I wasn't going to school when I went to the city. I was living with my grand-aunt.
Grand-aunt.
Yes, sir.
But he took you to go to school.
Yeah, but eventually it didn't really work out the way I wanted it. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I started working.
So at 15 you didn't even really have a...
Finish school. No.
Finish school.
Finish school. I started working.
Where did you work?
I started work with it's merchandise company, haberdashery thing, Arhan and Sons.
And what were you doing?
When I started working first, I was a clerk.
Okay. And your job responsibilities?
Well, basically, I used to deliver mails from one store to the other,
Mm-hmm.
and deliver goods from one store to the other.
Okay. And your father? So at 15 you're working as a clerk. And you weren't going to school. School was not on your daily routine.
No, I was not at school at the time.
All right. So no, your father, where he left you with your grand-aunt, and where did he go?
Well, he was in St. Anne there doing his business,
All right, good. He's in St. Anne's doing his business. Now, what happened at 16, 17, 18? What happened?
Oh, I was still working with Arhan and Sons.
Until what age?
I met Mr. Hanna, and Mr. Hanna decided that he was going to. He asked me if I wanted to go to school. I said sure.
Is he still alive?
Hanna, no. He died a long time ago.
Of course. It's a long time. Did he have any children?
Oh yeah, he had
You know
sons
these?
on the.
Do you know any of them that are still alive now?
I don't. I haven't keep track, after So, but I know he had kids and they were still running the business, which those businesses not
So
anymore.
from age 15 till 20, or was it 19? What age did you leave this job?
Say about 18.
18. So you worked as a clerk. Very good one. The top of your
One of
job.
those men's stores.
Okay. Until 18. And who was ruling the government at that time? And what year was this, approximately?
Approximately, let me see. It was somewhere in
64?
No. That's way back, man.
72?
That was way in 1972 or 71, somewhere
right.
in that age. That is, in those days, I think Mr. Bustamante was the Prime Minister at that time. Bustamante or Mr. Shearer, one of those.
All right, now, what was playing on the radio? You were going to parties, hanging out with ladies? And
No. I wasn't the party guy.
You were just working. What do you do with your money?
I used to love movies.
You watch a lot of movies?
Yeah, I used to
What
watch a lot
was
of
your
movies.
favorite movie?
When I used to love those Roman shows in those days.
Roman.
Hercules and Majesty and Samson,
What was your first movie you ever seen on the big screen? Do you remember?
I had watched movies like Hercules in the Center of the Earth. And I can't remember, I went to the state, I watched Valley of the Dolls. And that was a long time.
Did you have television back then?
Yes, my aunt had television. It was black and white.
Well, your aunt, your grand-aunts, what did they do?
They were retired.
Okay.
They had lived in the United States and they had retired, and went back home.
All right, so now you're 18, you don't go to parties, you spend your money on movies. Right, well, what else? Any special girl in your life at that time? 16, 17?
No. I was still young. I was a bit shy, you know.
Yes.
I didn't really have the.
A shy guy.
Yeah, I was a shy guy.
You wasn't a girl's man.
No.
All right. So
I've seen a lot of girls, but you know, the approach wasn't there. I didn't really, you know, I was.
let's see a picture of you now.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
what
In those
age was
days,
this picture?
This picture is a picture that portrayed when I was about in those 17, 18 years old.
So this was the time when you were working as a clerk.
Yeah.
Let me zoom in on that. Hold that up, sir. Leave that. You just hold that there. Okay, so this is Mr. Pottinger, Kenneth Pottinger,
Yeah.
as a clerk at 1718.
Yeah.
All right, good
That's me
job.
there,
This is great. This is great. Good.
Mhm.
And this, wait, let me get two of the different guys in here now. So one is now 50. You're about 50 now?
Going on 50.
50, and now that was 18 to 50. That's good. All right, sir. You're gonna continue then. You could just hold that picture near your person, put it on your stomach.
here?
There. Yeah, just leave that there so we can see the contrast. You can
That's
just-
a vast difference, right?
yeah, there's some difference here. We got that. So this is you. What year? About what year approximately? 1972, 1971, about 70.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move forward then. We have some time left, but we want to get the life story. You put that down now. We want to get the life story down pat, you know. And let me ask you more questions so we can get much accomplished. All right, so Mr. Pottinger, you are 18. You're very disciplined. You had your own job. You weren't going to school. And your father went away, and you're living with your grandaunt. Didn't have much girl, didn't party a lot, went to a lot of movies. What else did you like doing?
Well, I'd like go to church.
You're a church guy.
To school.
Every Sunday.
Yeah.
Your grandaunts would take you to church. You're a man of God.
Well, I would say in that time, you know.
Good.
You have to know, you know.
Now, when did you leave this house and why?
Well, for one, when I started going to school, as I told you earlier on that Mr. Hannah decided to send me to school, so I decided I was going to do bookkeeping. So
What school was this?
that was a school at Dunrobin Avenue. It was a private school.
So he sent you,
Yeah.
and Mr. Hannah,
He paid it the tutor.
you were working for him and he decided to send you to school.
Yeah.
Because you were a smart guy.
Yeah.
He funded out of his pocket.
Yeah.
This was from 18
Yeah.
until what age?
Until about 19 years, part of 19 years old.
So about a year and a half for the school or 2 years.
Yeah.
As a bookkeeper.
Uh-huh.
Okay, good. Did you finish your studies at
No,
this?
I didn't finish.
What happened? Why did give briefly what happened?
Well, my father and my uncle decided that working for £4 a week wasn't so much profitable for me, so they were going to give me a better business proposition. So
Your father and your uncle. What's your uncle's name?
Barry Pottinger.
Barry Pottinger. So
Yeah.
they had their business in St. Anne's.
Yeah, my uncle had a gas station.
Okay.
Mhm.
Your father had his construction trucking business.
Yeah,
And he decided that it wasn't feasible for you
Yeah.
to finish up school. It would be best for you to now come back and help out with the business.
Yeah,
So
and
again-
learn about business.
Again, they took you from someplace to give you another opportunity.
Yeah,
Good. This was 19. They took
Yeah,
you. They took you out of school.
yeah.
What happened?
Well, I went there to St. Anne's Bay, and after being there for a while, I still insisted on going to school.
Hmm.
And I called my aunt, Beryl Pottinger. She was in Clermont. She had a store, a fabric store.
Hmm.
And I said to her, I said, Aunt Beryl, you know, I still want to go to finish school. And she said she was going to talk to my father about it. And she called my father and told my father. And my father still insisted that, you know, you're at your uncle's place. You can learn all you want down there, I said, right, and be a successful businessman. Yeah, I said. So that was the reply. So it was there that I decided to say, boy, no, this is not going to work out for me. You understand, right? So I was in a little problem there, you know, as boys all over. I messed around my uncle's, my cousin's car. That's Bobby Pottinger. He's now Custis of St. Mary. He had a brand new Buick Skylark. In those days, we had a lot of American cars down there. So he was a successful insurance salesman for mutual life insurance. So he
this
took
was
his car.
about 19.
Yeah, he took his car for service at my uncle's gas station, and you know I went inside and messed around it, and the car was damaged. Yes, sir.
In the engine, you went into the
The
engine?
front. I went inside and started the car. Didn't know anything about car. I tried to put the car in reverse, and it was actually in drive, and then the car took off right inside of the wall. Whole front damage. So nobody didn't say anything. Right? My father, my uncle, Bobby, I left the gas station the same time it happened. I went down to the house. Right? By this time I had a bicycle and it was parked and it was also damaged. Got the car run right inside the bicycle. So I went down to the house here and expected my uncle to come back now and cut off my head. I didn't see him, so I decided to sneak up back and come to the gas station. I saw my father, my uncle and my cousin there. They all stand up there laughing and talking.
Did anyone see you doing this? This deed?
Oh yeah! And the police on the other side of the street, everybody came and ran to find out what was happening. You understand? So they didn't say anything to me. I take time, creep around, back to the gas station. And then my father didn't say anything to me. Nobody didn't say anything to me. Days passed, nobody didn't say anything to me. Until one Sunday, my father came down to the house and they all put me to sit down on a table. And all 3-4 of them sit down. And it's like they were trying me for a death sentence. You understand? Right? Imagine that happen. I take you up, put you do this, do that, and do that. And look what you can do now, how much $1,000 going to cost. And you know, those type of, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
You already tried at age 19 for a big crime.
so I decided, so, in other words, most of my privileges were cut now and everything, you understand? I said, well, boy, this is not a place to be anymore, you know. All the chance I'm going to school is cut, and everything cut, that's right, so
You're now an outcast.
I'm now an outcast now because I'm in a lot of trouble right now. So I decided to say, alright, I'm going back to Kingston.
On your own.
On my own.
Alright, let's speed up a little. You're back to Kingston now. On your own.
Yeah.
Who did you go to?
I went straight back to Hanna and Sons.
Okay, and what did he say when he saw you?
No, I didn't go back to Mr. Hanna himself. I
Uh-huh.
went back to the personal officer and told him what happened.
Mm-hmm. What did he say? What was his?
He said I must go back. He said he doesn't know if my position is still at the store, but I must go up there and ask the manager at the store if he was in a position, and I was to start working.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't do that. I went back and told him that the personal officer said I must start working right now.
It's trying to survive.
So it's 2 days after now did he realize that, he didn't actually say that. So I started working, right? So I was working there.
1920 now, right?
Yeah, I didn't see my father for a while. I didn't go there, didn't see nobody.
You're making your money now. What was your intention from this point onwards? Where were you living? How did
I
you
started going to school.
back to school again?
I started going to school off on my own.
What you picked up where you left off in school?
No. I went to Kingston Technical High School. And in those days, you didn't have to have a fee.
Okay.
All you had to do was just pass your entrance test.
Common entrance?
No, not the common entrance. You had an entrance examination you had to take.
Okay.
If you don't pass it, you can't enter, right? So I do that test and I pass, and I started going to school.
So you're going to school, you're working.
Uh-huh.
Where did you live?
Oh, by this time, I was living with my friends in Fletcher's Land.
What was the name of this friend?
That was Barry and Cleve. Both of us.
It's like
all
Bonnie and
shared
Clyde.
apartments. Yeah.
So Barry and Cleve.
Yeah.
What did Barry and Cleve do?
Well,
What?
when Barry used to do welding and Cleve used to work, I don't know exactly what he was doing, but you know,
Was this a furnished apartment or was it one room?
one bed, one room.
All right, so it's
Or
one
three of
room.
us.
One room, three of you, three different bunks.
No, one bed.
Okay, hold on. Answer these specific questions. One bed, three grown men with 20.
Yeah.
One bed.
Yeah.
Did anybody smoke drugs, smoke weed at that time?
No.
What
Drugs
was-
were there, but we didn't smoke.
Buddy and Cleve, were they into
Yeah.
drugs?
No.
Okay. What about music? They're into music.
Yeah, in those days, everybody was trying to see if they could really. There were guys who were around trying to make music, yes, and they would come and think and, you know, talk and think, and there used to be police very often coming around and everything because, you know,
So
it was a bad neighborhood.
where was this?
Fletcher's Land.
Fletcher's Land
Yeah.
in Kingston.
Yeah.
And it's still called Fletcher's Land now.
Yeah, still called
Is
Fletcher's
it
Land.
still a bad neighborhood?
Well, I don't know really. You know, it's a couple of years where
Does
it's
that
all-
house exist? The same house? Does it
I
still
think
exist?
so. I think so.
All right. So you're living in this shack. What was it? What was it? Apartment they rented? What was it called?
Yeah, they call it tenement yard.
Tenement yard.
You have different people living in different apartments, and they were all tenants.
Who owned these tenement yards?
Well, there was just one person who owned those houses, yeah, and all of them inside there, and then
Okay.
they rent them out in rooms, you know.
Your rent was
One bathroom, one shower, you know, you take turn, you know, I go to the bathroom.
Wait. So there were about 20 people live in this tenement,
Oh yeah,
and everybody shared the same bathroom,
same bathroom,
same everything.
same shower and everything.
Okay, good. Answer
Take
these
turns.
very specific questions now. It's coming. Did you miss any payment on your rent at any point? Did your team?
Oh no, we always keep together, you know, we didn't really.
So you
know.
guys were very responsible at this
Yeah,
age.
uh-huh.
Very responsible team. Okay, good. So you're working.
But
There.
I was working.
Barry's working where again?
I was working with some welding firm I did.
Okay, and the other one?
Cleve, he was working. I don't know exactly where he was working, but I know he was working.
Okay. Now, how did you get to know these guys? They're a
Well, let
friend
me
of the
see.
store. They came by the store that you used to work.
No. I had known one of them through a person I was living with before.
Are they still alive
In
today?
Green Park.
They're still alive today?
I don't know.
So
Just
these are
like-
just people on the way.
Yeah, and people on the way.
Good. No. So you're 20. You're
Yeah,
working now. You're back on your feet here.
Yeah.
You're working now.
Mm.
21, 22. What's the next step? You're going to KC. What's the name of this school?
It's a technical,
What was it? The letters. What do you call it?
Kingston Technical High School.
So this is KTH.
Yeah,
Kingston Technical High School.
Yeah,
Is this high school still around?
yeah, still around.
And what was your major? What did you focus in this high
I
school?
decided to do. I was going to do mechanical engineer.
Mechanical engineer.
Yeah,
And you were paying your way through school.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It didn't cost.
no, it didn't cost.
So you're going to school for free.
Uh-huh.
How long would it take you to get your degree?
Well, it would take about 4 years.
4 years.
Uh-huh.
So you started 1 year
Mhm.
on your major, mechanical engineer.
Uh-huh.
What happened from there? You didn't finish?
No.
What was the story now?
That's the time I met Pauline.
Pauline Reed.
Yeah,
Where did you meet her?
I met Pauline. She was working at a little grocery store on North Street and Mark Lane corner.
She was working at a grocery store?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Okay. So you met my mother
Yeah,
at a
uh-huh.
grocery store.
Uh-huh.
Now this is interesting. How old was she?
Well, she was about the same age of me, you know. Either one, I think she
20
was,
or so.
Yeah, she was
So
about
you met
18.
this was one of your first girlfriends then?
Oh yeah, uh-huh.
In love? You met her at the store, she was working there.
Yeah, well, we used to pass little notes to each other, you know.
Talk about the experience.
Well, the very first time I went there, I saw her, and you know, I was attracted to her, and you know, and I was, of course, I was a very shy guy, you know?
Uh-huh.
And then she was much bolder than me. That's all right, because you know she we used to pass notes to each other, right?
So she was working at the store.
Yeah, uh-huh. It's Chinese.
A Chinese store.
Yeah, Chinese.
What was her emotional makeup? Was she a strong woman? Was she knew what she wanted?
Oh yeah, that woman was very ambitious, man. Understand? She knew what she wanted, you know. Exactly. She wanted to go to school. In other words, she always wanted something. She always wanted to do something. She had so much things to do. She had so much aim. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So now at about 20, you did she move in with you? What happened? For
well,
you?
after we got together,
Mm-hmm.
we dated and some other thing, and you know, started to move around.
Together.
We get involved intimately. She
Mhm.
got pregnant with my
First son.
first son, and at the time now I went and took us some furniture, and I rented an apartment in Green Park,
So
no,
now,
in Western Gardens.
so now you're providing for your girlfriend, family.
Mhm.
You're providing now. Are you still going to school?
I had to change my job at that time.
So now you have to stop going to school
Yeah.
and now change your
No,
job.
the reason why I had to stop go to school, I had got a job in Spanish Town as a process operator at this factory where they make bagasse board, that's plywood.
Mhm.
So when I asked them for the time to really go to school, I had to work shift. So they did not allow me to really come to the school, so I had to stop.
So now you're working
I had a choice to either continue going to school
or work.
or work.
And
So I had
provide
to work
for your
because I
family.
provide.
All right, now, so Thurston Pottinger, your girlfriend, your baby mother is pregnant.
Uh-huh.
This is around 1971, 1972, around there,
Yeah,
right? I'm trying to travel on this journey here. You're working at what factory now? What are you working now?
Standard building products.
Standard Building Products.
Yeah,
And are you making enough money to provide, or?
Oh yeah, I was making enough money to pay my rent and everything.
Good, so you're paying your rent
Mm-hmm.
with
Providing food and everything.
providing food.
Yeah.
Thurston Pottinger, your first son. 1972, he was born.
Uh-huh.
And you had a nice little house, you were living together.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So everything was good.
Uh-huh.
1972, 1973, baby's born.
Mhm.
Everybody's happy. You didn't take much pictures.
No, we didn't take much pictures. We didn't take much pictures at that time.
What family members were around? Mr. Wiltz or Mrs. Wiltz? My mother's.
No, Mr. Wills wasn't around.
1973.
Um,
So you're out there by
your
yourself.
your grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
along with all your aunts. As a matter of fact, the main person who used to be around is one of your uncles named Mackie.
Maki.
Mackie was there most of the time with us.
What was he doing with you guys?
Mackie was from the country, came up and looking for a life. He wanted to do some things, you know, like he said he wanted to do shoemaking,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So
he would live with you for some time.
No. Actually, he used to come and go, you know.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you did.
And then sister, you have an aunt there, we call her sister.
Just it.
Yes, all right. She used to be there very regular. And your grandmother, she used to drop in now and then, you know. Well, Marlene was teaching in Craighead at the time, you know.
And my mother was working at the store.
No. My mother started working long time, and after telling about
What was she
first
doing?
child, well, she was now teaching somewhere in Mavis Bank, you know.
So she got her degree. She got her.
No, she didn't go to college yet.
Okay. No schooling.
She didn't go to college yet. She had passed the required subject to be a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So she had started teaching, understand? And then after teaching now, she used to come down on weekends to me and everything, yes? And by this time,
So she would go away and leave the baby with you.
no, by this time the baby was in Manchester with the grandmother.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. So now my mother had to teach.
Mhm.
You had to work, and the baby had to go back to the country.
Uh-huh.
So the baby, at what age did the baby leave to the
The
country?
baby was about
2,
no,
3,
no.
5?
That is not a year old.
not even a year old.
That is not a year old because
1970.
that is by
So
the time
1973 is still going.
yeah, by this time she was pregnant again with you.
Oh, geez.
That's it, right?
So did you guys have it hard at that time? So that reason why the babies had to go to the country?
Well, yeah, for one thing, because I mean,
Why did the baby?
Polly had decided that she was going to finish college.
Okay.
Right? She's going to go to college, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, I was working in Spanish Town, you understand? And then when she got pregnant, actually, she got pregnant at a very early stage after Teddy had born, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I would say about 4 months after Teddy born, you understand? So, shortly after that, shortly after she got shot, and then that's the time our relationship started to, you know, to go very shaky. So she went back, you know,
Well, let's talk.
separated.
No. So your relationship started to get shaky.
Uh-huh.
Things was working out between you two.
Uh-huh.
Okay, good. And you had to go off to. You were working, and she wanted her degree. So you two had to go your separate ways. And Mr. Thurston Patcher, Randy Patcher, two's offspring went back to Manchester, to the country, while she was in school, and you were working somewhere. That was exactly what happened.
No. I was still working in Spanish Town.
Mm-hmm.
You were born in Manchester.
At home.
Yeah?
With her.
Right?
So she went back to the country.
And she went back to. I remember she went to after you were born, she went to college.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So as soon as I was
She
born,
went to Church Jesus College.
a couple of months after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
She left for school.
If I'm right, I think so. I think I didn't remember if she started working again or she went straight back to college. But I know after she had you, she went back to college.
Okay, how did you play a role in this family? Right after that, you're working. How did you support?
Oh well,
I tried to.
After you were born, that is when I moved to Spanish Town.
Mm-hmm.
Right, with my brother I had over there by my father's side.
21, 22.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right. I had moved to Spanish Town with my brother, I said, and I decided, sorry boy, and then I met this
Other woman.
that's a woman. She was Barbara, I said, and then she got pregnant.
You're
Right?
boy.
She got pregnant.
So for not being for being shy 20 years of your life, once you started, nobody could stop you.
Well, I mean, that was exactly what was happening. I started,
You started.
and it's like I was having a jolly good time, you know.
That's good. That's good. I like that. I can say I understand where you're coming from.
Right? So
Good.
I mean, she got pregnant and she had this girl, baby,
Stacy.
Stacey. Right? After you were born, that is when I moved to Spanish Town.
Mm-hmm.
Right, with my brother I had over there by my father's side.
21, 22.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I had moved to Spanish Town with my brother, I said, and I decided, sorry boy, and then I met this
Other woman.
that's a woman. She was Barbara, I said, and then she got pregnant.
You're
Right?
boy.
She got pregnant.
So for not being for being shy 20 years of your life, once you started, nobody could stop you.
Well, I mean, that was exactly what was happening. I started,
You started.
and it's like I was having a jolly good time, you know.
Okay, that's fair. That's good. That's good. I like that. I can say I understand where you're coming from.
Right? So
Good.
I mean, she got pregnant and she had this girl, baby,
Stacy.
Stacey. Right? So my company, I was working in and running financial problem, and they decided when they were going to close. So that's the time I decided to join the police force.
What was Barbara doing?
She was working.
So now you're 22, 23,
Yeah.
and you had third child on the way, Stacy and Pottinger, and you wanted now to join the police force.
Yeah.
So you didn't finish KTC.
No.
You never finished school. None of your school you started, you completed. And now you're going to join the police force to support this family. When did you get married to Barbara?
When I graduated, after I completed
The training.
my training at the
Police force.
Force.
What was the name of the academy?
It was just Jamaica Constabulary Force.
So that was the main force in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So now you're a policeman at 24, 25,
Yeah, 24.
and now you're going to get married.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have a fourth child in the marriage, Junior Pottinger.
Yeah.
Good. So now you're married. You're living in Spanish Town.
Yeah.
You're a police officer. You're fighting crime.
Yeah.
What was it like?
Well, actually, in those days, it wasn't so violent. Crime was so high at that time, and the unit I was dispatched to was not mainly to fight crime, but was sort of public relations section. After leaving the academy, they had transferred me to the mounted section of the police force. Understand? That's the hard section, right?
How did you like your job?
It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
So you're a horse rider.
I didn't really like horses at that time because being with a big animal like that, a horse, you understand? I know the dangers. I didn't really much like horses. But anyhow, by working with them and getting used to the unit, I had to, and I got to love them, And my duties, I had like my duties, and I was the type of person who really liked dealing with the public. So basically, my duty was just like a public relations officer, right? And I had loved that,
Right.
Instead of going out there and fighting crime, I had loved the idea of being a police public relations officer, And that was basically our duty. We used to do crowd control, we used to do traffic duty, escorts and everything, I enjoyed doing ceremonial occasion. We used to dress up in ceremonial dress, especially when the Queen is coming and open a parliament, all those stuff. It was very, very, very good, I liked it. I liked it very much.
What was
I get to meet a lot of people,
Beat a lot of people?
Yeah,
Beat?
No, meet a lot of people.
Okay. What was Pauline doing at that time? What was the relationship between Barbara and Pauline Reed?
Oh, well, they had a good relationship, I would say, because she had visited us a couple of times, and by the time Junior was born, and she had went and looked for Barbara when Junior was born, so they had a good relationship.
What was Pauline doing? Well, so we were still in Manchester, the country, and she was finishing up her schooling, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you were married, and you're a police officer. In the time period you're a police officer, because now you're being judged again. Now again, you've been tried for crimes. Were you any? Now you're Mr. Womanizer. No. Here's the real deal. Now you're changing into this woman man because you now figure out that women love you. What happened with the relationship between you and your wife? What started to happen? You're 24, 25, 26, 27. From 24 police force to 27, what happened?
Oh, during that period, she was there with the kids.
And you never cheated?
I said, well, I wouldn't say no, I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no. So at that time.
Because I'm trying to make sure when I grew up, I'm 27 now. I've been with one, I can't say that I
You can't say it's follow my footstep, right?
I can't say I follow you footsteps precisely, but I can say that I understand where you're coming from. All right. So now, anyway, you're Mr. Pottinger. You're doing your thing like men do normally, and you're providing for your family, Junior and Stacy.
Mm-hmm.
How did you help out Thurston Pottinger, Randy Pottinger, or Pauline Reed? What was the relationship like financially? What did you do to make sure we had clothes or anything like that?
Well, I mean, that's a very, that's a question which is very hurting and very, we call it, hard to really explain.
Well,
Financially, whatever I was earning at that time, getting the monthly salary, it was very rough. Yes, I was the only bread provider of the family. Junior and Stacy was very small. And, that salary, getting a monthly salary every month was very, it was very small, yes, and to stretch across, it was once in a blue moon, I have to really admit, that I hadn't really said anything to Pauline for my two boys, yes, and we used to be in touch now and then, but totally, as a father, I could really say I was a father financially to those kids 100%. Right? I am being very honest.
that's good.
I neglected certain responsibilities in those days. And then it's when I realized I got older, I realized that it wasn't totally my really fault, because if I had a wife at that time who was supportive, right, to the household, maybe things would be a little bit better. But getting a monthly salary, if $300-400 a month, and then paying rent and food and everything and some other thing, there's hardly much, at that time I could really do. It had hurt me so much sometimes to really know that my two boys that I had really loved so much, yes, and were being neglected by me as a father at that time. So I couldn't really say and get up and say whether in front of camera or behind camera or behind my two boys back or behind anybody, I had to tell them, say why I was 100% supportive to those boys. Yes, and not when they were at that age. I have to give credit to their mother. She worked very hard, to really take care of those kids. Yes, and that's in spite of all that we had in the earlier days, right? I have to give her credit for lots of things. She was my first love, and she had my first boy, and there was a lot of things what I really had to really credit her for. And up to now, even though I am 50 years old, I'm going to 50 years old, and going through life and experiencing a lot of relationship with other women, and comparing those women with my kids, first kid's mother, that's right. She is way above average. In certain qualities, more than most women I really feel around. And as I was saying, not in front of the camera and behind camera, but there are lots of things I have to respect her for. Yes, and there is still something, dear for her, in my heart, because, I still respect her a lot. Yes, and she has acquired a lot over the years. She's still the same person who I met earlier years, being very ambitious. Yes, and always want the things that, see the things that she wants, and she always set a goal. Yes, and right? She's always like that, right? But over the years, when you have been growing up, and after that you get to realize that the things that you have done earlier days, if you should really turn the hands of time you would have set it completely different. And that is how I feel sometimes. And I have to really credit her. I mean, with the effort that she did as a one parent in those earlier days. Because, you know, in those days when she was taking care of you guys and so on, I think I was still struggling and hoping for a better day would come to really, that I could really give my kids them what they really want. You understand? 'Cause I was very proud and I was happy, and no time at all, ever since my son was born, my first son was born, I've never said to anybody that I don't have 4 kids. I always say I have 3 boys, 1 girl. And I'm always proud of my kids. Always. Right? I've never denied, right? As I said earlier on, in the years when I used to womanize and stuff and thing, and with all those women I used to fool around, because I mean I've never go to a woman one day and say, look, I'm not married, I don't have no kids. That's it. Women used to understand, say, look, I have 3 boys and 1 girl. So if you want to have a relationship, fine. But I'm not going to deny it, and I've never denied. And my kids always come first. My kids always come first before any of these people. But back to the argument that you had, the question that you had asked. To conclude that question, I was not 100% supportive to you guys when you were small growing up. Until later on when we used to get together and we used to think. But financially, I would say that.
All right, let's move.
That's it.
Good. We understand. Good. That was a great picture you painted there. Honesty is the best policy. Now, let's move forward now. All right, life is good. These kids are growing up. You're married. You're a police officer in Kingston. 27, 28, 29, 30. What's happening? 31. What's happening now?
Well,
we have about 20 minutes left. What's happening now?
After
Spanish Town.
In those years, after Junior born.
Because remember, we used to live with you in Spanish Town.
Yeah, after Junior left, you guys were living with me for a period, you understand, until your mom decided to take you back. And then during that period, after that, Junior and Stacy's mother decided she was going to migrate to the United States.
Okay.
Right? And then I was left with Junior and Stacy, and my sister came to take care of them.
What's her
Beverly.
Beverly. So Beverly came in.
Right? And if you guys can remember, I used to come a couple times when I was at Old Harbour Road in an apartment building, right?
Yeah. And
so that is the time now.
Bappy was there too.
Yeah.
Bappy and Scully.
Yeah.
Brothers of Barbara.
Yeah, brothers of Barbara.
Okay.
So it's during that time now when I was at Spanish Town, I got a visitor's visa, and Stacey and myself and Junior, we went to visit their mother in the United States. Right? So after she was there for about 2 years, you know. So when Stacey had reached the age of 10 years old.
Wait a minute, you were from Spanish Town, you went to St. Catherine.
Yeah.
That's where you got the visiting visa.
Yeah.
And at that time, I think that's when we came to live with you.
So
that's where the bonding started at my age, what, 10, 11 or so.
It was about 9 or 10.
Yes.
Because Tenny had just took his exam and then...
he went to Charlemont.
Yeah, he went to Charlemont.
And they got a visiting. We lived there with you at St. Catherine.
You didn't reach the age of scholarship yet.
Okay.
I didn't take scholarship yet.
And I was going to Lincoln College.
Yeah, I wanted to get into Yorton, but I mean, there was no space up there, so, Miss Green got into Linstead.
Okay.
Very good
So
school.
went to Linstead. Stacy and Junior now went to America,
Yeah.
and we were living with you exclusively now, just with you, to build a relationship, and that's how we got better to know you. And just when we started to relax and started to have fun. You didn't know, but at that time, that's when we started to grow. I mean, that was very, very important time for us, and it was a great time. I mean, we lived with you, we looked up to you, respected you. You were there doing what you could, and we had a fabulous time.
Oh yeah, I can remember in the earlier days when used to be three of us there, and we used to, oh boy, it used to be fun. We used to plant up things in the back there, yam, banana, everything. We did the front. And as a matter of fact, I can remember you and Teddy, especially you, were the
Painters.
not even the painters. You understand? You were the architect. You were the person who constructed that fence at the front there. Right? If you can remember. You understand? You had developed a skill during that time, a technical skill, right? And an architect skill, because you had designed that fence.
A fence?
Designed that fence at the house there. If you can remember, we all sat and designed that fence. I can never forget how we decided how was going to build a fence at the house. You understand? And we constructed that fence. You understand? We can remember the fence was there. Remember the guy who made the fence, right? And then you guys designed the paint and everything. Yeah, then you painted on the fence. You understand?
So from there, I developed this artistic talent.
Yeah. I mean, and I can remember when I came to visit the United States, your mother gave me a bag for you, and I took it back. And used to share that bag with Teddy. And then you developed another skill of learning to pull down that bicycle to screw by screw. And fix up that bicycle.
Even in the nights.
Yeah. Until
everybody came.
You started to taking customers. That's it. And I said to you one day, I said, Kevin, why you don't charge those guys, to fix the bicycle? I said, no, I'm not going to charge them at all. I just want to see that the bicycle alright. And at no time you have never charged these guys. You always want to fix those guys' bike, but you never charge them at all. You understand? No matter where they come from, and no matter what problem you have, you always try to fix it. That is your interest all the while. I never charge them at all. Never. And you could make money. That's right. But you were just that type of person who just like to help people. That's right. So I mean, I just said to myself, "Sorry, boy, you're just like my father." That's it. And over those years, I've never tell you this, but you're just like my father. That's it. The way you used to dress, and the way you used to treat people, and you used to talk to people, that is what my father was. The other side of my father, I'll tell you something, which I'm very, very proud of. My father was a disciplinarian, yes, and he was a man who set example who a lot of people had to follow, yes, and I was very, very, very proud of him. I was very proud of my father. My father, I could go anywhere and tell people say, "Boy, my father is Ned Pottinger." I said, and the good things they talk about my father, I always feel proud. Right? So
my brother, he was in school. He was started in his girl days back in Charlemont, so he became a player when he started living with us. Right? Remember those days?
Well, he was I used to say he was
Just like it.
He was very sneaky, you understand? He used to mess around and when I asked to say, Kevin, Teddy, you know this, doing that some of that thing. He always denied, you know. I said, no. I can remember this girl, she was very pretty, you know what I'm saying? And somebody said, you know, Sapi, you know, is your daughter like that? And she said, who that? She said, yes, that's your son's girlfriend. That's the thing. And when I asked Teddy, she said, no, not me. I don't know, daddy, not me. Right? But, you know, he was very secretive, you know, in that his personal life, you know, so.
What was he like growing up?
Teddy was very, very quiet, you know. He was the outspoken person, you know. He was very quiet. He was a disciplinarian and, you know, he took his work very, very serious. He took his schoolwork very, very serious. Very, very, very serious with schoolwork. That's it. And he was a different type of guy from you in those days. You take more pride in your dressing. Teddy used to be very neat when he was going to school. That's it. I guess at the age when he used to be, I mean, around the girls at school, that's what that thing, you know. He used to be a Don Juan, you know what I'm saying? Or a Casanova kid, you know. I mean, Casanova kid and Don Juan, I wouldn't really say he was that person, but I mean, he was in the light of all these girls and, you know, he used to attract their attention, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean,
So I wasn't a girl man.
right? No. I mean, I don't know. You were very sneaky, yes, and you didn't know. In other words, your attention was, if you were supposed to follow a girl or something, your attention was basically lessons in doing something or the other. In other words, you never really talk about girls or some of that thing, yes, and right? Maybe you had girlfriends, but I didn't really know, yes, and I mean, it was. I had suspected once that he was messing around with my neighbor's daughter, but you know, I didn't know exactly what came of that, you know. Well, I mean, he used to start on top of the fence and some of that thing. And I think even the mother of the child was suspecting something to which they were really
Concerned.
not concerned, they were really happy, yeah, because, I mean, one thing I really was really happy about is that she was young and you was young and you was the type of person who they would really look and say, no, I don't want to talk to my daughter. That's it. They looked up on you. That's all right. That is what I was really proud of. The mother and the father all were respecting you. That's all right. And I said to myself, well, boy, I mean, that is how I really want my kids to really grow. That's it. No matter who inside the neighborhood there had a daughter, they would really like to see their daughter to talk to one of my sons. I said, because that lady and her husband, which are my friends, their daughter considered they were class. I said, and it was a privilege for them to really have their daughter speak to one of my sons. I said, and I was really proud of that. I said, and a lot of women inside of the scheme who have their daughter and know they wanted one of them to really talk to one of my sons, but you know, they have to really, it's up to really their decision, you know what I'm saying? Right? But
Alright.
so I must finish, right?
Yeah, this is making tape here.
Oh, it's making right now. Let me say so I must finish.
Yeah.
So how much minutes I have left?
You have 2 hours at a stop. Yeah,
No.
4 minutes. Just
4 minutes.
something quick.
Well, in the conclusion, I'm very happy
We'll continue.
to really, give this interview, in a very short while, and I hope to continue some more about my life story. And I'm very, very happy here to know that I'm in the presence of my son doing this business and interviewing me. And I know that this company will be going farther and further in life with the help of God. So that's it. We'll talk to you some more.
And signing off.
That's it.
Signing off.
Yeah, that's
Mr. Pottinger.
signing out. Right?
You did a good job. Alright. Signing out. Let's see here. Anybody want to give shout out to while this tape finished? Send some respects to any people around the world?
Well, first two comments. I just like to say hi to my one and only daughter, right, and to my sons, my three sons, right.
The next segment we're going to talk specifically about each kid, 1 hour apiece.
Specifically about each kid, right?
Yes.
The behavior and everything, right?
Uh-huh. So you'll have much more time. There'll be about 20 hours worth of material on you. That's all we ask for.
I mean, there's a lot of things about me, really, I mean, you know, in and out in the early days, you know, the good and the bad and everything, but, you know, it just, that I mean, we don't get a whole big reel,
Actually, when you come
a
back,
big whole day.
when you come back, we're going to attach you to the computer, so it's unlimited. Unlimited time. So you're going to have over 8 hours, 10 hours, you relax, and we invite Mr. Pottinger, your big son, and I'll be here, and we'll have a little conference.
Yeah.
We'll have a show, and we'll all be there together. So it's a good time for all of us to come together and to finalize, get together and move forward in the future. And Miss Reed will be here, and we'd love to have Miss Barbara at some point.
Miss who?
Miss Barbara Pottinger. Your first wife.
I mean, for an interview?
Yes. Well, I'll go to her house if I have to.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, it's your company and your time, so I mean, you know.
Just to get the family documented. And Junior's gonna come here soon. So at some point I'll have Junior and you sit down on the show and do your thing. And you could talk about issues. We document this for the family for 50 years from now. Put it in the archive, put it in the safety deposit box. So we have something to pass on. And that's how we have to do things. Year 2001, the year 2060, or year 2100, they'll have this information and say, look at my grandfather. By that time, they'll be flying in spaceships.
Yeah. And we will have cars and more flying around something with a cushion a year. Yes, and you know, when they have a parking spot somewhere and they start to make parking spot at the top of the building. That's it. Just fly around and then just, you know.
So what's next for you, Mr. Pottinger? What you have 20 seconds, just I think it's over now. But we're gonna have another session. More sessions like these on Sunday.
Yeah, well next I mean just like this we'll come here and we sit and talk and sip some
apple
juice, some apple juice and some of that thing. Because basically I'm not an alcoholic, you know. That is what really, you know, you have to really when we come again we really talk about that side of my life.
And music. We'll play some music.
Music and alcohol and some of that. That's not my style. You know? My style was, you know, other styles, but you know, getting older and older now we have to really, you know, think about something different, you understand? And you know, say, boy, those were the days. That's all I have to say, those were the days. You know?
Those are the days, huh? We're gonna end this off, hopefully, with a tape. With that music you might know. Maybe you know all these songs, eh?
No, what I should really do, when I read the speech and each time you put in that music and then take it out.
Well, we can do that after.
No, I mean, you see, whenever you have, like say, I'm talking about the 60s.
So now you're telling me how to do my job.
That is the 60s.
No, we're gonna do that. You see, after we do edit, after we do production here, we can now bring that music in. So we can integrate the two later on. But first you do the tape with no music so you don't disturb. Then you can orchestrate. You know, it's called compositing. But it's
so
over.
Are we still on?
We're over now, sir. This is it. Just give the final salute.